Welcome to the First Home IQ. I almost said Spotify Wrapped. We were taking a note from Spotify, but really excited to talk about the end of year and what's coming in 2026. So thank you guys so much for joining. We'll get started here in just a minute, but if you guys could drop where you're coming in from in the chat, would love to hear where you guys are dialing in.
And while this is going to be an interactive call, be sure to control your mute when you're not talking. I'm in Lake Oswego, Oregon. And so we've got Los Angeles, Washington, Pacific Northwest is winning. Omaha, what's up? Oklahoma
Stranded in
City.
Portland.
Oh no, Katie. I was say let's do coffee. I'll bring you some coffee to the airport. Oh, you have good coffee shops at the Portland airport.
At least, yeah, I was gonna say that is the best airport. That is my favorite airport.
It is the best. Man, Pacific Northwest is crushing.
Yeah.
All right, we got Bill Dallas in the house. We got David King. So we've got some board members. That is awesome.
Yeah, great to
Um,
see you guys.
yeah, we're probably gonna brief for the first 10-ish minutes, then we'll kind of open it up. I know we've got some board members here that we'd love to hear from. And please put questions as they come to your mind, put those in chat. Chesky, we've got a lot of ambassadors. All right, Kristen. I mean, I think we're gonna probably have people continue to roll in, but
All right,
we do have
we'll
some
get
folks
started.
now.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. This has been such an incredible journey just to reflect back on the last year and what we've been building over the last couple of years. It is all about the community. And so, what better way to celebrate than with all of you? So we're going to share a little video that we've put together of that Alex on our team really put together that has spotlights some of the impact we've created, and you can find this on Instagram and things like that. But just to kind of kick us off here, and then we'll start digging into some of the highlights and where we're headed for 2026. We have some really, I think, exciting ideas and direction and collaboration. So we're sharing all of that here first with you guys. So thanks for being here. I'm going to pull up our video from
And,
Instagram.
and,
Oh,
and while she is pulling this up, feel free to multitask and find it on social media. It's on Instagram. I've already added it to my story, and we are looking for people to help forward this, but start it, playing it anytime, Kristen.
all right. Oh, log in to see this post. That's hilarious. Okay, so we're not going to show that video right this second because that would take me require that I remember my Instagram password. So we're going to skip ahead and just dive into because we've got some slides that highlight things in the video. But please go to Instagram and check it out, share it, like Dave said. This is really just highlights what a fantastic community we're building. And we want to inspire others to not only be part of this mission, but live out the mission of bringing financial literacy to the next generation. And you can do that by sharing that and putting your thoughts to it. We have shared this on LinkedIn and Instagram, as well as we have some new newsletters on LinkedIn. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but would love for you guys to hop in and share that. So as we get started here, want to just kind of again express gratitude for all of you being here and for the incredible work that you guys are doing on a day-to-day basis of living this mission. Dave, anything you want to share to kick us off?
Well, I always like to start with just a big thank you because we have a number of folks on this and watching the video that have donated money and time would not happen without the time and the money. And also just to make it super clear that the goal is that this is the mortgage industry's nonprofit to inspire and educate the next generation on home ownership. Like this is your nonprofit. Well, Kristen and I and Todd, who isn't here today, were the co-founders, and we started the flame. But everybody on this call, like we can build the flame, and I truly believe we're at a place where we look back a year from now, the MBA is getting involved in helping amplify this. And this will be the mortgage industries. This will be every loan officer in America that wants to be part of it. This is your nonprofit to put a dent in financial literacy in America. So thank you and fired up. Let's go.
All right. So if you guys have not seen it yet, we did a little soft launch of this report yesterday. You can go to firsthomeIQ.com/impact and you'll see the report here. This is what we're going to dive into a little bit and share some insights from that. It is pretty extensive, going from everything that we have accomplished as a community over the last year, what we've been building, as well as where we're headed, and some more information on the mission itself. Some exciting things that we're developing in 2026. I just heard that the download the report button isn't working for some people, so I'll make sure that that is updated so that you guys can actually download the PDF as well.
And myself or someone else on the team is putting links to these things as we do it. Make sure, like, as someone who's investing time just by being here, like, read it. And like I've talked to a few people that have read it, but they missed page 7, where we talked about what we're doing with the MBA. Like read it. And then also, how are we going to turn it into the mortgage industry's nonprofit? Distribute it. Share it with friends thoughtfully, share it from friends in one-to-many ways. Kristen has, and our entire team has got this on every social media channel. So read it, share it, and appreciate it. And again, links will be in chat as we go.
All right, so I want to kick this off by just sharing a little bit about what has kind of inspired us the most around working with all of you. And as you guys have thoughts, type it into the chat, raise your hand. But we'd love to just kind of start with talking about what has been most inspiring. And I think for me, as I started putting together the impact report about a month ago, it started with really getting clear on our kind of vision and mission, and in my personal mission around it. And you'll see in the report that there's a page in there specifically looking at, well, there's a bit from me on that, but on the trust crisis. And over the last year, we've done a little bit more on the next gen homebuyer research, but looking at not only the knowledge gap, where I think it's not surprising to see that people don't have the financial literacy. That was what we founded this on. But to see the declining trust in the industry and in where we are in as a society with AI and all of that, we have instant access to information. But I think the level of trust is what really fuels me to say, hey, mortgage professionals are uniquely positioned to be able to build trust in their communities and deliver that education while someone is making the biggest financial decision of their lives. So this kind of idea of the trust crisis and the trust opportunity is what I think really excites me to see. We have over 150 ambassadors who are devoted to building trust in their communities through education. And, now we're going to scale that. So that was kind of my big thing that was most inspiring to me, was looking at the community itself who is living this out. Dave, what about you?
Well, I mean, to me, the board that we put together, we've got Bill Dallas on here, we've got David King, but Mitch Kiter, one of the most prolific attorneys in the industry, joined us. I'm not going to list off the board, but it gives us the reach, the influence, and the wisdom to get to that level where we could be impacting millions of consumers. And then something from the outside the industry that really has played is just AI. Like, some people are really afraid of AI, but consumers are using AI. First-time home buyers are using AI. And I'm equally excited about the fact that if you want to future-proof yourself as a loan officer, especially a local loan officer that depends on a local community, like it's almost like you need to be this first time home buyer ambassador. So some external things that I think have made what we're doing even more valuable to loan officers and the board is to me something I'm pretty pumped about.
Yeah, and I actually had a slide here featuring the board, and like you said, we have a couple on the call here, but that has it feeds into the same thing that I'm talking about of the community that's actually doing this, and the fact that we are working together as an industry to solve for the financial literacy and trust crisis here. So definitely super inspired by everyone that's participated and who's taking real ownership over this. Um, so would love to pause here before we dig into what we've had, what we've accomplished over the last year. Want to hear from any of you that have anything else to share around what's inspired you. I know,
Yeah.
Katie, you are
And by
in
the
the airport, but thanks for hopping into chat.
Yeah, raise your hand or put something in chat if he wants to call on you. Bill Dallas has been a mentor of mine for a couple decades and a CEO of several different mortgage companies. Bill, why are you excited about this, and why do you think loan officers and lenders should really lean into this mission?
Well, I'm doing it for 40 plus years, right? I hate to age myself, but at the end of the day, it's always been an issue. I have five kids, all of them millennials, all of them Gen X, Gen Z. They all own homes. I think putting it to practice is important. I think I think the connection with MBA, and I think it somewhat gets lost in the noise of mortgage. I mean, and you've watched it now go from probably in my career, 30 or 40% where first time home buyers make that amount up in the market to probably in the 20s and maybe even going lower. And a lot of that frightens me as a person. I think I come at it a little differently. I think also in that I've started a school. I have a Oaks Christian School in California. It's probably the largest Christian school, private school. And one of the things that we've learned in our portrait of graduate is how important it is for life skills. And one of the skills that we really believe in is home ownership. And so working with Chris, trying to figure out what we're trying to figure out is the same thing that each of you try to figure out. How do you educate young people on the importance and the process of how to do this, right? And how, I mean, there isn't a person on this call that doesn't believe in the miracle of home ownership and hasn't felt it in their career. So invest in it. Come with us. Give us, we need money, we need ambassadors, we need people to make this happen. I've probably invested, I don't know, 10 to 15 million dollars in in education of younger people. And there's nothing more important, I think, in the world than trying to make that happen. And I think we have to make sure, I think, that home ownership is firmly understood. And as the single family home continues to change, we now work in it, we rent it, we share it, we build our families in it, right? I think it's important for us to take that lead. And so I'm excited to be a part of it and just to give whatever I can to helping, I think, the mortgage banking universe and loan officers in general sort of pick up this ball and help us move it and bring it back. I mean, we should target 35, 40% of the market should, even if they're older, we don't care, right? If it's 25 to 38, it really doesn't matter, but we've got to invest in that or our market will suffer.
Yeah, no, really powerfully said, inspiredly said. Feel free in chat to let us know if you want to speak. I know Pinky, I had asked her to come in here, and she's in between meetings. Last minute, she came in. She's one of the top donors that was called out. Her picture is in the report. And by the way, that is a push for everyone. If you know someone who was spotlighted, whether it's a board member whether it's a donor, whether it's an impact leader, someone that shared the quiz or had the most meetings, text them. Great job. Way to go. But Pinky, why, however you want to answer the question, why do you think loan officers and lenders need to lean into this First Home IQ mission?
It's why we do what we do, I feel like. It's just, I think, Bill, you just said it beautifully. I hope none of us are in here if we don't really believe that homeownership is important and valuable for people. So I hope that those of us that are lenders and realtors are in it not just for the paycheck, but because we truly believe this is a good way for people to develop wealth. And then secondly, for me, in addition to that part of it, I think it all helps us do what we do and serve more people by doing this too. So selfishly, it helps us do that, right? So if we're helping educate more people, it helps our businesses only thrive more, I think. And then I just feel like, a great way for all of us to show up is to be community leaders. And this helps us to do that. And then my personal reason why I like to do this beyond those is I have this silly little belief, I'm going to call it, that if money problems could be reduced for people, and there's tons of money problems, but if we can help thwart those early on, I just think we create a better world for people to live in. I think people are kinder to each other when they're not facing with money problems and they're not in situations that has them behave in ways that they wouldn't behave if they weren't in that situation. So I feel like if we can just create education early on, we can help make this world just a better place. And I know it's big aspirational, but it's a little way to try and help in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you got some hearts. By the way, guys, feel free to use these little hearts. Use the chat. That was beautiful, Pinky.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for giving us this opportunity, Kristen, Dave, Todd, all of you that do this because it's a wonderful mission and not one that I was ready to take on doing everything myself, as Kristen, I told you, but to be a part of it and to be able to contribute is a way for me to be a part of it without having to take on all the work that you guys have taken on. So thank you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're fired up.
Yeah, your leadership and I mean, you have been a donor, a leader, you participated in some of the classes we've done and appreciate you diving in, but even just sharing your heart like that is so inspiring to all of us. So appreciate you jumping into this.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, and I want to call out. Sammy said, "Hey, let's be friends, Pinky." I do want to really urge you guys to connect outside of just the webinars that we have, the events that we have. I got a text this morning from two of our board members that had a meeting yesterday, and it was just like, "Oh, that's awesome to see this becomes a community when there's interaction beyond this." So reach out to each other. And like I said, if you know someone who's mentioned in the report, give them a text, give them some recognition, and help spread the word. Anybody else want to raise their hand? I don't want to call out people if they don't want to be called out. Anybody else?
I just love that this industry, I see you, Sammy, I'll come to you, is so perfectly positioned to be able to bring leadership and it supports their business. So, I just think that we're at a really, it's exactly what Pinky said, of being able to deliver the education and it supports your business. So, Sammy, jump in.
I am always about participation and I'm always about community. And I think power comes from community. It's really great to see mortgage lenders going out and from that, Kristen, you've created this really cool website where we can get all the information that we need and we're all passionate about the different things that we like David may like look at the tools and use it a different way. Pinky's like out there trying to, and that's how I am. I'm like peace of mind, like if your soul is not breaking for every applicant, like I'm a mortgage lender to get access to people to help people in the world. That's just where my heart is. So it makes me passionate about this job. This is what's so great about mortgage lending is you can be whoever you want and do that. And then this just Home IQ gives us a tool. And I really see Dave and Kristen, I'm sorry, I know that there are other board members here I just know Dave and Kristen more because from the groups I've been with you guys. But just I really appreciate the people that you are because Kristen, I see you as an investigator trying to figure out the answers because your heart is just how do we help people, right? And then Dave, for you, the last time you mentioned, it's like it's not about the numbers. It's not, it's like how do I communicate to people? And you guys have created something where you have people who are, okay, well, I'm about the numbers and I'm about teaching or I'm about growing my own business. And then other people who are just social media going into school. So I just appreciate it. I'm committed. I have this thing where I'm like, oh, my calendar, like, oh, trying to fit it all in, but I'm committed. It will happen. Same with social coach. I really see that as a tool. I'm like, oh man, I need like just and guess what? Like the world, even if you don't see it this way, the world will be positively impacted by this. So, um, all right. And of course, Kristen, I'm going to share everything that I see because anything that I see, it's like it's more ammo for you to really just delve deep and see how it can shift and move and change because it will constantly be that. So. I
Well,
just
thank you.
appreciate this community so much and the people that I get to meet inside of it because we're all playing the same game and to be able to be inspired by everyone. So
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Yeah, I do think that we're operating under the belief that we can do well by doing good, and that you guys are able to grow your business by doing these things that are also having incredible impact. So appreciate you sharing that. And yeah, and I would also say you can take ownership over this. Everyone on this call is part of this mission and part of this organization. So share everything that we're sharing is yours to own and share. So thank you guys so much for being here on that.
Yeah, and real quick, if you don't mind, Kristen, I am gonna play that little
Yeah, yeah,
video,
yeah. I just saw that we got
and
it
I
got it up.
and I also am gonna share the download this to this. So while the video that I'm gonna play right now is just kind of like tells the whole story, this is your social media. Help us get the word out. If you want to grab it on one of whatever social media platform you use and share it, put your frame around it, put your voice around it. But here's a summary. Here's a little story of what's happened this year. Great,
All right.
great job, Kristen
Fantastic.
and team. That was awesome.
So that was a sneak peek into everything that we were about to talk about, but it's really just, again, so exciting to see how much impact we've all created together. And you know, continue to share that on social media, LinkedIn. We're all over, and it's all of us participating together. So we did hit over 15,000 students reached this year. I think it was much more than that, but that was our conservative estimate. And again, everyone is continuing to grow that number. So going into I want to just kind of highlight some of those areas that we've talked about that's in that video. And these are just a few of the ways that we're measuring impact, but one of those is through the donations. We are going to continue to update this top list through the end of the year, but these are individuals who have donated in the top 10 amount. And some of them are donating on a regular basis. And I know many of you are not even on this list and are still donating consistently. So really appreciate all of that. We have JJ and Joe who consistently donate on a monthly basis based on their loan volume. So that is it's beyond words to be able to express what that does to support the mission. And I just want to briefly mention where that funding goes. Every single dollar is supporting this mission. Some of the ways beyond just the education itself, which it does allow us to expand our workshops. Next year, we'll talk about how we're expanding into doing next gen buyer updates. So we're going to have quarterly releases of research. We're also working on an advocacy project with the MBA that we'll talk about here in a moment. But it helps us create the educational videos and online courses for consumers. And then we do have a scholarship fund for people who have just started out in the industry or are serving in low income areas and wouldn't be able to afford the ambassador program. So again, every dollar makes an impact. We did measure out how much those donations equal out to every student, and it's about $17 per student, and you can round it out to 10 for $150. So if you guys are planning to do any additional donations beyond the ambassador program fee or plan to do or want to share this with others, you can sponsor 10 students for $150 and then you can do that on the firsthomeiq.com/impact page. So just want to do a quick highlight there. Any quick hits of stories or anything you want to share, Dave, before we move on?
Why don't we keep moving? Because I want to make sure other people, if they want to share thoughts, they can. But just again, a thank you, thank you, thank you for everyone that has donated money and time.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, I'll go through this fairly quickly because I do want to get to what we're planning for 2026. But top presentations. Joe Soto is at the very top, does tons of presentation content. Don does his team does a lot of first-time homebuyer workshops. Memo and Vicma were in schools specifically, and Memo has shown up consistently every office hours, and he did a series in his local high school, and just has had a huge impact in their community. Vicma was also doing regular speaking in a school. So really cool to see that impact and see them jump to the top of this list. Todd did a series on with realtors and their, I think, parents and kids. Anyway, the recordings of those are in the ambassador portal and the presentation. So a quiz leaderboard. Jordan Nutter continues to hit the very top of that list. She is a fantastic ambassador for the quizzes. We did update our quizzes this year, and so it was really fun to see people engage with that. We now have a truly research-backed, validated instrument for measuring your understanding of buying your first home, and every ambassador has their own unique quiz page. So when someone takes the quiz from your page, you get the name, email, and results of that person. So these are the top quiz responses in the leaderboard right now, and we hope to continue to expand that as we grow into 2026. And then the number of ambassadors per company, we had Guild at the very top of that list. and followed by Churchill, Neo Movement, and Cross Country. So we've had some, it's actually really interesting to see how many are spread out across companies, but these were the ones that we had the most concentration. And then lastly, wanted to, and this is to the spread out comment, we are representing 145 cities across the country. So it's really cool. This is the first time I actually aggregated that data to see where we all are. And it was really interesting to see we had not a ton of concentration in cities, which is really cool to see the kind of impact we can have across the country. So the top metro areas were LA, Orange County, where I'm at. We were in then Dallas, Fort Worth, Phoenix, Seattle, then Denver. Pacific Northwest was taken. So if you pull in Portland with Seattle, I think it would have risen a little bit higher. But really, again, there weren't that many. I can't remember. It was like I think the most we had in a particular MSA was like 8. So it's kind of cool to see how spread out we are as well.
Yeah, by the way, I was in Orange County and recently moved to Portland, so watch Portland go to the top next year, guys.
Yeah.
And I would love to compete with anybody, Bill Dallas in Vegas, David King in is it what's the city? North Carolina, Charlotte?
Charlotte?
Charlotte.
Bring it. Like I'm calling it out right now that Portland's going to be the number one MSA next year, unless someone competes with me.
Oh, I will say Dave would have been in all of these top lists. I think I pulled him out. So just so you know, Dave was in the top 5 quiz
Guys,
leaderboard. So, but yeah, you're winning in a lot of these competitions. Okay, so I'm gonna real quick, high level, go through the impact snapshot. We have 180 First Home IQ ambassadors. I started collecting this data a month ago. I need to update that. We had, again, over 15,000 reached. We high level year in review, and you guys can dig in deeper on all of this in the impact report. But just we updated all of our presentation materials, so they are new. We have updated some of the language to make it more engaging. We added presenters guides so that you can create engagement in those presentations. That was kind of my favorite feature there. As I mentioned, we did the quiz landing page update, which was awesome. Created more engagement with that quiz landing page, and also improved the language so that people are able to understand without feeling intimidated. We did Spanish translation of all of our presentations, all 10 of our core First Home IQ presentations. Next year, we're going to be doing the quiz landing page for those who are interested in engaging there. We launched with FinLocker, who offered a branded app so that people can work on their budgeting, credit score, add that to the suite of tools for consumers. And for our ambassadors, we input their specific FinLocker app into their landing page. And then we updated teacher resources. So this was kind of an interesting thing where we went directly to schools, especially when we were starting out, working directly with classrooms. And this year we have transitioned so that everything is centering around the loan officer and the mortgage industry. So we worked with loan officers to engage with classrooms and with schools, and we have a suite of resources for them to be able to offer the classroom. We can still directly interface whenever people want that, but we have a handout that they can hand off to teachers or people in the schools. We have a playbook for going into schools, and we have lesson plans and all of the presentation materials and classroom exercises for the classroom. And then lastly, we launched our financial literacy report this year, in addition to the Next Gen Homebuyer report. This one, again, I've said this before, but it was my favorite research project that I've ever done, and I've done so many of them. But it just really highlighted a lot of the mission that we have going around, like I mentioned at the beginning, the trust crisis, the knowledge, also just the general psychology of today's consumers, and where that creates huge opportunity for mortgage professionals. So I'm gonna pause there and see if you have anything else to add to that, Dave, and then we can start talking about where we're headed in 2026.
Well, I'm super pumped about 2026 and putting my voice around some of those. Again, I've thought everybody, said thank you to everybody who came here and donated time and money. Kristen and Cindy and Alex and Katie and, the actual team that has put together the content has promoted it. I mean, big thank you from me. And I know everybody, you guys have already said how much you appreciate it, but Kristen has really put a great team together, and it's pretty impressive what is being accomplished, so fast and with a really lean budget. I mean, we really need to build a platform that's generating millions of dollars a year if we're going to impact millions of consumers a year. And I think the industry is capable of it, and I think we're building the board and the type of folks. But I just can't emphasize enough, whether you're watching a recording of this or you're here, like every time you spread the word, it makes a difference. Every time you get a loan officer to go, you know what, I'm going to be an ambassador. Like it makes a difference. And so I just can't emphasize like how much it takes us all to make this impact. But great job, Kristen.
Thank you so much. And you too. I mean, this is such a collective effort. It's really inspiring to do this work because we're doing it together. And that, as I was reflecting on the last year and thinking about where we're headed, I think we are really at a unique time where we have built a foundation where you guys have all given feedback. We've put this into practice. We built a strong foundation of understanding what's really creating impact and what isn't. And now we're planning to scale. So as Dave said, we need more donations, we need more participants. But our number one goal is to really transform the industry around trust and education. So we're doing that in a few different ways. One way, I'm going to just hop into our actual report here and spotlight a few of the areas. One is there's a spotlight here under our partners, but we're partnering with the MBA in a couple different ways. But one is around advocacy, because as we think about if we as a mortgage industry are creating this impact, we need to be doing that on a policy level as well. We are, especially loan officers are, again, uniquely positioned. They're working directly with consumers. They are building the community organization. They're showing up in their community. And they are integrally involved in the actual transaction. And so to then, I think for ambassadors who feel like they are ready to do this, we want to position them as well as policy leaders and affecting change on a national political level. So we're partnering with the MBA to bring 50 ambassadors or loan officers who are interested in really participating and shaping policy at the MBA National Advocacy Conference I think it's April. So if you're interested in joining, let us know and make sure to register. And we're going to do a special event there, and just really excited about making that as part of our initiative in 2026.
So I want to jump in here. So I've been to this event multiple years, and it was purpose and profit. I mean, first of all, there's not an event that the MBA puts on that has more CEOs. So I mean, I want to grow a mortgage coach. So if I can go sit at a table with the CEO of a mortgage company, I was there for business. But as I went there, I really realized like, wow, like this is something that every American should experience. What it's like to lobby on the Hill. For me, realizing that there was so many smart, good-hearted 20-something-year-olds that are running our country was like you know how many interns there are supporting a congressman or congresswoman, but until you actually experience the Hill, like there's like words can't describe it. So I would just push folks to go and you spend the first day like learning how to be a lobbyist. A lot of people don't know what a lobbyist is or what their work is. So you get to spend a day with the MBA. Last year there was 500 people. They were all executives. One of the things that we and the NBA want to do, we want more loan officers. Like the people that are touching consumers, we want you part of the MBA. We want you on the Hill. And then you spend a day learning how to be a lobbyist, and then you spend a day going on the Hill. The meetings are scheduled, like you're meeting with the senator and the congressman of your state. So like you don't get to pick your state. Wherever you have residence, you will be on that team. And so you literally get to go and lobby on behalf of your state. And here's my message. Not only is it a great life experience, not only like, we can complain about policy, but if we don't actually go out and try to influence policy, then, I'm just saying if you care about policy around homeownership, you should do it. And then the NBA collaboratively with us they're gonna have their one pager. Credit triggers was big on the list last year. I'm sure there'll be things about credit. There will be a FirstHome IQ one pager where it'll be like around affordability. It'll be around financial literacy. It'll be things that matter to our mission. So there will be a FirstHome IQ one pager. And then I would just say that's the purpose side of why you all should go there. And then there's the profit side. Like there'll be some pretty cool social media. No matter what state you're in, you will be one of the mortgage people from the state of Washington, from the state of Texas, from the state of New York, from the state of North Carolina, you know, Nevada. You will be able to like, hey, I'm going to the state to influence homeownership policy, affordability practices. It'll be good social media. So I would just push everybody, block your calendar, pencil it in. We will be coming up with playbooks and it's pretty like there's a link, sign up, mention that you're with First Home IQ, but we will be formalizing this. Keep following us on social media. If you're on the email list, we'll be sending very specific things, but I've blocked it on my calendar. I actually got to get my hotel reservation this week. And we hope to have like 50 plus. Like 50 is the minimum that Krista and I are working towards, but there's no limit. Like we could have 100, if we want, so.
Yeah, and to your point around the social media and the branding side of this, I mean, part of our mission again is around building trust. And if only 20% of millennials and Gen Z say they trust loan officers to help them make smart decisions, we need to change the branding there. And I think whenever someone sees that you are not only in it for a transaction, you're in it to really build trust in your community. Advocacy and showing up at something like that is really, really powerful to do that. So,
Hey,
yeah, really excited about it.
one more note, because I remember the last time I went to advocacy, I just tell you there's a pride. Like I did something. Like there is an inner confidence and an inner personal pride that is gained from this experience. That just words cannot describe it.
So that's going to be really fun. Let us know if you register so we can keep a running list of our First Home IQ community. And well, yeah, like you said, follow us. We'll keep talking about it. Okay, so a few other things looking at 2026. One thing I want to mention about just the overall vision is, again, we are focused on how to help, like trust builds into the education. If people feel they can trust you, they feel less overwhelmed, and then they are able to listen and process that information. So you will get more deals when you build the trust. And so that's why we are building out a few areas to support that. One is we're creating a certification program. I'll talk more about that here in a second, but it's to give you a designation around that trust. Many of you as First Home IQ ambassadors are able to rely on that to some degree to help support the credibility as an ambassador in your community, as someone who aligns with a nonprofit in this mission. This will provide training from some of the top leaders in our industry who are donating their expertise to help you do well by doing good. So it will help you grow your business, and it will do it in a way that is building trust. So that's number one, is the certification adoption and toolkit expansion. As part of that kind of toolkit expansion, it kind of leans into our number three strategic priority around research. But I mentioned this before, but we're doing a quarterly release of a next gen buyer update so that you can deliver recent and high quality research in a presentation to realtor groups or partner groups to tell them, here's how you can better understand and build trust with the next generation. So everything centers around how you bring leadership around this in your community. And we want to make sure that not only do you have the research, but you're also able to share that with realtors and other community groups as well. And then the we talked about advocacy, but then the other area is partnerships. So we think that we can achieve more scale through strategic partnerships. If this is something that you think your company might be interested in supporting, we have a couple of ways of partnering. The primary way is we make our education materials and the certification program available to every loan officer at a lender or at an organization. So that partnership is a way that we can continue to grow impact and support the mission. So those are the three strategic priorities for 2026. It does lead into then we will be rolling out with that certification a lot of new education. So we have a fantastic lineup of topics covering everything from realtor relationships, those next gen buyer updates, how to leverage your database, going to parents and working with other companies in your local community, going to HR departments. The psychology of consumers, social media, video creation. So those topics are lined up and we're really excited about it. And they are being led by our fantastic new FirstHome IQ faculty. These are the top leaders that are also going to be contributing videos to the certification program we're doing and are committing time to show up at these mastermind events and some of our FirstHome IQ or our ambassador strategy meetings and just being really present in our community. So we have more than we're shown here, but Jeremy Forcier, Shayla Gifford, Amir, Ryan Grant, there's just some fantastic individuals who have said, yes, we're part of this. We're going to take leadership here and we're all going to be able to participate in that growth together. So.
Yeah, so couple things. So on the lender partners, I want you to realize that, we need referrals to lenders or vendors. And there's a free option, like, hey, be a promotional partner and help us get the word out within your customer or employee base. There are, hey, make a commitment to a certain amount of money, but just know that, we need referrals and introductions so that we can have those meetings and tell that story. And then this certification program to us is one of our big bets. Like we're making two big bets in 26. We're betting big on the MBA and adding value to their mission and having them want to expand our mission and the certification program. Because we also know that we need to make loan officers better. Like they need soft skills of how to talk to a renter with empathy, how to connect and communicate with the next gen. By the way, I need help with that. I've got a 23-year-old and a 26-year-old, and I'm actually really looking forward to workshopping that and growing at connecting with the next gen better. But Kristen, myself, and the team, we're going to create something amazing. But then we need your feedback. Like if you're one of the followers, we need you to get certified. Give us feedback. Like I guarantee when we come out with the first round of certification 101, there'll be a 102 coming. So, anyone that's watching this, anyone that's here, like you are clearly invested in this. Please, refer us to lenders, vendors, partners, so we can grow that and then two, be part of that. By the way, I just noticed another board member showed up. And by the way, Dave King, I haven't called on you, but if you do want to talk at any point, we want to hear from you. But I know Jeremy said he was going to come in here towards the end. And I guess, Jeremy, you haven't been here the whole time. But if you're part of this board, why do you think loan officers and lenders need to lean in to this First Home IQ mission?
Yeah, I've been thinking about the role you play in your market. So, as these kind of digital tools are thinking at a national level on all the different things we hear hyped up all the time, reaching everybody, the thing that we're talking about here is owning your own zip code, right? Owning your own market in a way that actually makes the thing we've been all talking about for 20 years, the actual seed that created this, Dave, was everybody says this should be taught here. This should be taught here. We've heard it forever. And here we have champions that can do tremendous good while doing business development. So I really think when I hear from even the banks that Kristen and I have been talking to, not just, that local champion salesperson, from a retail MLO perspective, even the banks are saying, I have to do better in the local community. People are craving that connection right now. And so it's that combination of this is where I am, this is where I'm active, this is where I can make the connection from just owning that market. But then second, we're hearing that there is actually a need, that need to connect with someone that you can trust, the key that Kristen talks about in the lack of trust at the opening of the impact report. Like to me, those two things are the strongest messages we're hearing, Dave, when we go out and have these meetings.
Yeah, and just so folks know, like check out who Jeremy is on LinkedIn. I mean, he was an executive at Rocket. I think your title at the time was it Director or VP of Innovation?
Strategy
Uh,
innovation.
yeah, and so we're talking about a guy that really knows how the game is played at a really high national level, and he's got a tremendous heart for how do we win locally. David King was the chief marketing officer at Movement. He was actually the guy that came up with the whole "let's have cool T-shirts and win the T-shirt game in mortgage." And then also was the chief marketing officer at Loan Depot, but on the board. David, any thoughts you have or why you think a lender should lean into this?
Oh, well, it's so I've never been a loan officer, but I've been in the mortgage space now for 16 or so, 17 years. And it really, you asked Bill Dallas earlier why he was invested in this whole initiative. And I have not invested $15 million like him into education. But aside from you, Kristen, and Todd being an inspiration, it just so happens my kids, they're 23 and 25 now. And so it's just, it kind of, my kids are, neither of them are homeowners, never have been, but they're getting to that place in their life, that age in their life to where that's a real thing for them. And it's a real struggle for them. And regardless if you have kids at that age or younger or older, it's a real struggle. And I think the cause that we're really trying to, and the problem we're trying to solve through this is just a wonderful cause. And it's one of the main things that we should be focused on with our younger generation. So I'm just happy to play a small part. And, thanks for allowing me to be here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, brother. And before I hand it back to you, Kristen, I do want to remind folks this is a nonprofit. It is a tax deductible. And if you do donate money, if that's something that you do, you have the ability to do it, uh, like First Home IQ. And many of you are already donating money, but just we I don't want to say there's no limit, but we're at hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if we're really going to impact millions, we need to be at millions of dollars raised. So we need to get a multiple on the amount of money we're raising if we're going to build the content, have the distribution, completely execute on this mission. So there is a link to give, and then please share it. Reach out to people that you think would this would connect to them. We would need to raise as much money as we can. So,
Yeah, I was
Kristen,
gonna say if anybody could, if you share this with others, we're really trying to do some end of year fundraising for those that are already planning on giving, just bringing awareness around this is a nonprofit that aligns with our industry's goals, and we're super lean. I try to be, transparent in the report with some of the financial data, but I'm always happy to share more. And our goal again is just to continue to scale that impact. So thank you guys so much for that. The last thing I would say as we're kind of thinking about wrapping things up is just would love for you guys to really consume the information that's in the report, especially that the mission conversation, the some of the data there, and the where we're headed in 2026, that vision. Want to make sure that you guys all are really taking ownership over that, feel comfortable with your role in that, and that you're sharing that with others. So we are posting, we're going to be continuing to post a bunch of stuff on LinkedIn and Instagram. So please make sure you're following and resharing. That does go a really long way to supporting this mission. So, and of course, just being here, showing up, being yourself, and living that mission every day is doing everything for us growing that cause. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Any closing questions or things that anybody wants to say? Feel free to unmute yourself or pop a question in chat. All right. Well, I think we're ready to wrap it up, Kristen, unless there's anything else you want to close out with.
Well, I forgot to say, we do have a special, like, if you are interested in becoming an ambassador and you are not an ambassador, please let me know. We would love to get you in before the end of year and be able to launch the New Year strong. So, but you can check out all of that information on our website and just appreciate you guys being here to celebrate the end of year and what's coming for 2026. So reach out if you have any questions or thoughts or ideas, whatever it is. Would love to just keep you involved and appreciate the collective impact we're having together. So
Have a
thanks so much, Dave.
wonderful holiday, everybody. Grateful for you showing up today. And if you're listening to the recording, links are down below in comments. Share this with your friends. Guys, there'll be a YouTube version of this that you can share with folks. Take care, y'all.